I attended a gay wedding in Singapore. Yes, a gay wedding in Singapore, a country that only decriminalized gay sex in 2023. This wedding was not just gay, it was officiated by a drag queen. Hi everyone, my name is Sean, and for those of you who don't know, last month was actually Pride Month. And one of the highlights for me for Pride Month this year was getting to attend my first gay wedding in Singapore. This wedding was between Andy and Hugo, who are both friends that I've known for quite some time now. Andy is Singaporean and Hugo is Taiwanese. And actually, they already ROM'd their wedding last year, so technically they've been married for like a year already. But this year they decided to include their friends and family in the celebration by holding a wedding, which I was very fortunate to be invited to. Now, this is not my first gay wedding, but it is my first gay wedding in Singapore. So I was quite curious about how it's going to be like. But before I show you what a gay wedding in Singapore looks like, I'm going to let Andy and Hugo tell you a bit more about themselves first.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy.
Hi, I'm Hugo. So we met on 2017. I was here for a vacation and I actually using dating app and I said, oh, this hot guy is very cute. Then I invite him to National Gallery.
第一天见面的情况。
Hi, hello, I'm Hugo.
Hello， 你好。
You are late.
你没有说 I'm late 啦，
那我说什么？
就说你好，然后觉得我很帅这样子。
你好，你很帅。
对啊。
为什么妆那么浓啊？
屁啦。
When we first met, I remember it just felt very comfortable. We were talking about life. Basically, we really spoke about everything during the first date. Treated him like a tourist. I brought him around Singapore. We went to Chom Chom for some food, and then we went to Gardens by the Bay. It was quite a romantic and nice date.
And after the first date, actually it was 1st of January, and it's closer to Chinese New Year. So this guy Andy was like very aggressive. He booked an air ticket to Taiwan during Chinese New Year, and he met all my family members after we met each other for 3 weeks. Yeah, after 10 months I moved to Singapore and I threw everything down in Taiwan and decided to move to Singapore to start a whole new life, to work in a new company and like living together with a guy I love.
跟我结婚吧，不再跟我求婚。好，我愿意。谢谢你。
If you would've told me that I'd find you, I think I would've lied, 'cause my heart is black and blue. You were different, sparked my interest, I'm awake. Now I am different, got this feeling I can't shake. I find pieces of you in every song that I hear. Guess I thought this day would never come. You make me feel all the feels and forget all the fears. This is what it means to fall in love with a definition. Look it up, baby, there's a picture.
So it's been 1 week since Andy and Hugo's wedding.
Yay.
Thank you so much for coming down to do this interview. I mean, I never thought that I'll be attending a wedding in Singapore, like so soon. Were there any challenges in terms of planning the wedding?
Okay, I should speak to this because I'm the main planner of the wedding.
Hugo is just the...
Yeah, I'm just a helper.
I think there was a lot of internalized struggles.
What do you mean? Like you yourself were scared to ask the hotel?
Yes, I was quite scared of like when I was reaching out because of the past, news around like, lesbian couples getting rejected from the hotels, and we also have heard some other cases where, people get rejections or even, no replies at all. So, I mean, I just sent to a few locations that, we shortlisted. And then when this restaurant, the venue that we had at Artemis, replied me, I was still quite discreet about like me having a husband. I just said,
Oh, so you just said I want to get married. You never say it's a.
I just said I want to hold a wedding, and like I was just trying to see. I was waiting for them to say yes, we have a spot. Only until then that I reveal that it's gonna be a same-sex wedding.
Okay.
I think the moment came when they said, okay, you should come down and view the venue. So I said, yeah, I will be there with my partner Hugo. I hope that they realize that it's a man and not a woman. So we went to the restaurant together, and the moment they saw us, they also didn't really say much. And then I remember very clearly during the discussion, I asked them, have you all done a same-sex wedding before? And they say no, but they're okay with it.
Looking back, because I mean it's only been like a week, right? So
Yes.
everything's still fresh in
Fresh.
all our minds.
Yes.
Looking back, what was some of the stand-up moments for each of you?
When my dad stayed on the stage, I was super emotional because I think this is a very important moment for us and also a very emotional moment for all the guests. So it's not a very usual thing to have a dad to speak for a successful wedding.
So for your dad to come out and give a speech, I think that was a very moving moment. I guess not for you all, but actually for the guests. So I don't know whether you're aware, but a lot of the gays were crying. Like
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like when your dad was talking, or even when the two of you were talking, right? Whenever you touch on the topic of family, right, I will hear like from around me. And I think for straight people, it can be very hard for them to understand. But for gays, right, to have your family acknowledge you in such a big way for a gay. Because I think growing up, okay, I don't know about the Taiwanese, but I think as a Singaporean, you never imagine getting married. Like I feel like once you accept that you're gay, you just assume that there is no wedding. Or if you do get married, you have to go to some far away European country lah, and obviously your family's not going to fly halfway across the world to attend the wedding. So I think that was a very touching moment for not just you, but for a lot of guests.
For me, I think it was. Oh, there's a lot of significant moments. Oh my god, there's a lot of significant moments. Like, because I spoke about the proposal earlier on, right? Like, I wasn't able to kneel down in front of everybody in Salavi, because I was so nervous and afraid at the time. So I wanted to fulfill that moment, like to have the proper chance to properly kneel down and say my vows.
一直恩爱下去吗？我愿意。耶，我爱你。
So I did that, and I thought that was quite a significant moment for myself. Another very significant moment for me, or like a highlight, was when I saw my nephew and niece, and then they were like waving the rainbow flag, and then they had like the rainbow pin on their shirt. I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. I was still very afraid before the wedding on how I should tell them that, hey, this is a gay wedding, or this is a same-sex wedding, or how should I explain that to them, right? Of course they knew that, Hugo and I has been together for many years. Every time when they see me, they'll ask like, where's Shushu, So they know that we are a couple, or they know that we are one unit. But to come to a same-sex wedding, and then for a kid at the age of like 10 and 4, I was like, oh, how do I explain to them? But when I saw them during that day, I felt like, okay, all these worries just went away.
I think it's amazing that your family, your mom and your sister showed up. But hypothetically, if they were to cancel at the last minute, how would you have reacted?
Okay, honestly, before the wedding, we, were mentally prepared that, parents wouldn't be there. So mentally, I think we are kind of okay that, if parents wouldn't show up, it should be fine. And I think another thing is wedding is a very celebratory moment. Should be very happy. So we really want people to be there because they want to be there, and not be there because they feel like, oh, I should show up, at least show face and support. But then throughout the whole process, they're not happy and all that. And I think we also feel the stress of like, oh, because we're gonna do very intimate things during the wedding. Like, we're gonna express our love for each other, we're gonna kiss, we're gonna hug, and then if people are there and then they feel a bit uncomfortable, like, we don't want to filter ourselves during the wedding as well. So yeah, I think we are quite mentally prepared before the wedding. So it was quite a blessing, right? Like it was like, oh, this is a bonus that our family were there, and then also plus like his dad was able to like be on stage and give a speech. To us, that's like a special bonus. Yeah.
So my perspective is, as a younger generation, we always need to show our respect to our older generation for our parents. So we prepare everything for them. But of course, it's like ourselves, like coming out is not an easy journey. And being a parents of gay sons is also another things for them to like learn how to coming out by themselves. So we are not rushing them to do this, but we do everything for them to prepare everything, and we respect their decision. So I think this is what we can do as a younger generation. But as for the older generation, whether they're ready or not, is their decision.
But I guess another question that I don't know if people have, maybe this is a kind of question that people won't ask you personally, but people will type online. It's like, why hold a wedding in Singapore in the first place?
So for context, right, we signed our papers, like we signed legally. We were legally married in Taiwan last year, right? In June as well. But that was very administrative. Like we just went there and then there's a counter and then we signed our paper. There's nothing romantic about it, right? So we wanted to, we wanted our friends and family to witness the union and witness the love. So, a big part of why we are doing 2 weddings, right? One in Singapore and one in Taiwan, is to make sure that all our friends and all our families from both parts of this world would be able to come together and like witness this. And then because I felt like after the wedding, it actually felt more real, even though we are legally married already in Taiwan. But it felt more real when you have your friends and your family and everyone there to just give you that blessing. Like that feels a lot more real. So that's kind of the reason like we wanted to have our friends and family like be part of that. I think there's another reason, which is around visibility and representation. So before we were planning the wedding, I went online to search for like gay weddings in Singapore. I think there's nothing really came out. Like, okay, some of the articles came out, but it was quite negative. It was quite negative things, right? And then there was nothing around like, oh, which vendor should you look for? There's no resource around like how you should plan a gay wedding in Singapore. So I thought that, for that reason, it's like we should really push the boundaries. We should really, like represent and be more visible, if we can, right? So
Definitely. I mean, dear people, we've covered same-sex weddings in Singapore a few times, but they've all been lesbian weddings. We've never had a publicly visible gay wedding. I mean, I know people who have gotten married privately here. They invite their friends, but it has not been publicized. So I think, visibility and representation is definitely very important. But I also feel like whenever people ask that question, right, then for me the answer is also like, would you just want to get married? I don't know whether you noticed that, but a lot of straight people, when they hold a wedding, for them it's a chore, because I think it's a right that they take for granted. For them, when they're planning a wedding, they don't worry about whether their parents will turn up. They don't worry about whether the venue will reject them or not. So for them, it's like, oh my god, I have to. A lot of them will say that they're forced to hold a wedding to please their parents. But I think for same-sex couples, when same-sex couples get married, it's really because they just want to get married, which is really what a wedding should be about. The essence of a wedding is really you want to get married because you want to celebrate your love and you want to involve people, and I think that's very important. But I also think that for same-sex couples, there's extra pressure that once you get married, you must stay together. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But not to put stress on your...
No, but the thing is, we wouldn't think. We wouldn't think about breaking up when you just got married, right? Like that's not something that would cross your mind, unless it crossed your mind.
It didn't. But actually, for me, it's like some people ask like, what's the married life? For me, actually, it's the same. So it's like our daily lives. Like we still quarrel sometimes. We still encounter all the difficulties in life.
You feel pressure now to be role models?
Oh.
Yeah, arguably the only openly married gay couple in Singapore.
Okay, honestly, I don't feel pressured,
Okay.
because I don't feel entirely that pressured or like have this like burden or responsibility. I have to like behave a certain way just so that I don't diminish some of their dreams or hopes.
People attached to you.
Yeah, I think I will still be myself.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think me too. So I don't think I'm the role model. I just like doing my own things. Like I want to achieve some of my milestone in my life, and Andy's the one I found, and he's the one I love. So getting married with him is definitely a things to celebrate. And apart from I talking about a role model, I don't think I am the role model, but I think what we're doing now is like the rights that everyone should deserve. Yeah, everyone should get the same rights to get married, to hold their wedding, to find the love they life. Because it's the ordinary things. It's like all the straight couple doing this. Same-sex couple can also do the same.
What is your secret to being together for so long?
Oh.
Do you have a secret or you know?
Quarrel every day. No, just kidding.
So I think my secret is so it's the things like we usually try to like find solution together. We do quarrel every day, actually every day, yeah. Especially when I first moved to Singapore, I have so many things, like different things. Like we have things, people say, oh, we have things in common. We have so many things it's not in common.
Yeah, even though we look alike, like we are both Chinese, but we come from very different countries, very different cultural backgrounds, and you know the way we grew up is very very different as well. So we have quite a lot of differences. Even until now, we still I was just trying to work out our differences, like the way we speak, you know, like Singaporeans being very direct and Taiwanese being a little bit more passive, and that type of things, like the communication style is a bit different.
Yeah, every day we are finding new things to quarrel, but it's also a new things we solve together. So it's a good thing. So what we are what make us like stay together for so long, I would say is a cultural difference. Because of cultural difference, we do set a bigger buffer for each other. Because I would say if I'm dating or like married to a guy from Taiwan, I won't have this buffer for him, because I would expect, you know, our culture, we know our words, we know our languages. So every sentence, every word must be very precise. And if I receive this certain word, I will know this is certain meaning. But for me and Andy, it's because our cultural difference. I do set a like very wide buffer for us. So whenever he say something like really hurts me, or I think that it's really rude, but I will always think, oh, this is a cultural difference. So the cultural difference, I would say, is the things that keep us going for so long.
Me, I think it's the willingness to want to solve problems together. I think we are both problem solvers to begin with. So we have this rule. Okay, the rule is that every time when we quarrel, we cannot go to bed angry. We have to solve the problem immediately, because you know there's some people who are like, when you know when they have a problem, they want to run away and they say, okay, don't talk to me now. You know, we will never be in that situation. We'll always be like, okay, let's talk it out first.
Okay.
And then before we go to sleep, we need to have a conclusion.
So you never been in a situation where you just don't reach a conclusion, then you both just don't sleep. You just end up angry.
Sometimes,
that happens
sometimes
as well.
you'll talk until like 3-4 a.m.
Sometimes he will just run away to his home, like home. But I don't have home to go back with. If I
Okay,
want
only
to go
once.
to
Okay,
Taiwan.
I only went back home
Yeah.
once. Okay.
So for me, it's like I have no like whole rule. It's like I have to be stay here. So this is my decision. I need to make it work.
The first apartment that we lived together is in a studio apartment. There's no space to run, you know. And then now we live in a one bedder, but still it's also like
No
a very small space. So you can't sleep in a separate room, right? We have to solve the problem before we go to bed, and I think that's quite a nice practice.
So what is your advice to same-sex couples who are looking to get married?
Just be true to yourself. There's nothing gonna stop you, no matter it's like your families, your friends, or like some negative comment from like anywhere. Just to be true to your heart. If you found someone you love, then just plan the wedding.
Have you all faced any criticism so far?
So ever since we post our wedding video online last like 1 week ago, actually, okay, the wedding video is now hitting like 2 million views online.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a huge million views. So we do receive a lot of like negative comments online, and like basically like based on their religious and like challenging us out, can you have kids or not, and all this. So yeah, we do facing a lot of like negative comments, but I think what I reserve is actually compared to like 1 or 2 years ago when I post some similar content like celebrate our love together online. Actually, we do receive little like lesser
Less.
hate
Less hate comments.
Yeah, there's less hate comments from
Singapore.
Singaporeans.
Yeah.
That's what we observed.
Yeah, Then there's another very interesting finding is there's zero hate comments from Taiwan. I'm hoping like one day Singapore can be like Taiwan. Like when people see someone celebrating their love, no matter it's like straight or like same sex, they can all like send their blessing to the loved one.
Actually, I want to ask you a question
I was not expecting
because you attended our wedding, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How did you find it? What are some of your thoughts, comments?
I thought it was a very beautiful, intimate ceremony. I wasn't expecting to cry so much. I thought having a drag queen officiate the wedding was very interesting, and I think you all picked the right queen. I mean, I knew opera for a while, but I didn't know she was so funny. I didn't know she was a comedy queen. I thought she was like, you know, more of a fashion
stunt queen,
or a
stunt
stunt queen, you know, like she do her splits from
Yeah.
the ceiling and stuff. But I didn't know she's like a natural comedian. Someone did tell me that you're going to walk out in heels, which you didn't, so that was a bit disappointing. And that same person also told me you're going to dance, and you didn't dance. So that person was just giving me
Who was
a lot.
that person?
I don't know.
You didn't
I don't know. Yeah, so but I thought it was quite a very beautiful, intimate ceremony.
This is not your first
This is my
Singapore gay.
second. I mean, no, this is my first wedding in Singapore.
Our first Singapore gay wedding.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it's
yeah,
not the last.
Hopefully, it's not the last. Okay, so we've come to the end of the interview. Before we end off the interview, do you have any last words you'd like to share?
Even last words.
You go first.
No, I just hope that we will see more same-sex wedding in the future in Singapore. No matter whether whether you can get legally married or not. I feel like it's a testament to your love, and it's a testament to that journey of your union. So don't be afraid to hold a same-sex wedding in Singapore. If you need any help, you can always reach out to us. We can pass you some contacts.
Thank you so much, Andy and Hugo, for inviting me to the wedding, and also for coming down here to do this interview. For those of you who want to connect with Andy and Hugo, you can follow them on Instagram, and Hugo also has a YouTube channel, which is
in Chinese 我跟你说, but you can search Hugo_TW on YouTube.
So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you. Bye.